All right. Here we are. It's now November. It's the 6th of November, day after Election Day. Of course, I had to wait till after that whole debacle was over. But, anyways, I guess not much to comment on that. It's another election, and we got 4 more years to the next one. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, Anyways, because we're here for Oscar stuff, we're here for all that predicting and stuff. And I like to always kind of break down the season as far as in time periods, because you've got the kind of September to October period. That's when a lot of the fall film festivals happen. It's kind of it's a pure speculation stage. We don't know exactly how the Academy is going to react to all these films. Even if they're doing well at the festivals, it doesn't always 100% translate. Some of the films at the festivals, as we saw this year with like the TIFF award winner, that's one that's not even going to be eligible this year. It's got to wait till next year. I think it was Neon decided to move that one next year. So, I can't even remember. It was Life of Chuck or whatever. That one, it's not even going to impact this year's candidates and the whole race. Then we get to November now. Now, November is kind of more of an early frontrunner stage, as I like to call it. This is where, okay, we've seen roughly 75% of the contenders. Sometimes there's, a few 5, 6, 7 films out there that waited until November to premiere, or they wait until then to screen for critics and everything, and or just release and just go and forego the fall film festivals. And then we get to December. That's when I like to call the regional awards or your critics groups awards. They start awarding stuff. So that's like New York film critics, your LA film critics, and it just goes kind of state by state, major city by major city. We also usually get the Golden Globes or SAG nominations, Critics' Choice in December, and then we get to January. That's when some of the award shows start, and then we, of course, get our Oscar nominations usually mid-January. But anyway, so now that we're in November, and we're a few days in, I had some time here today, so I'm like, here, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the races and stuff. In the top 8 categories, we're also today going to look at SAG. My first predictions on SAG as far as possible nominees. I haven't dug much into the stunt category yet. So that one I'll probably just throw out a few names here and there, but I don't have like a solid 5 predicted for that one yet. And you know what? We're into November. We're going to go ahead and take a stab today at a few, actually, no, we're going to take a stab at all of the tech categories as well. We're going to stay away, though, from animated feature. We're going to stay away from documentary feature, international feature. I like to kind of wait until we actually get the short list for those. Those will be in December. So we got a little bit of time there because it's a little bit of up in the air because you hear 6 or 7 sources like, oh, we love this, and they name like 30 films, especially on the international side. They love like 30 films, so it's like, well, shit, that's way too many. And then for doc feature, it's pretty much the same. We kind of have to wait until the Academy starts getting their submissions and they kind of dwindle it down a little bit. So yeah, otherwise I haven't gotten a chance really to see anything lately, so I'm not going to have any reviews or anything. And there really hasn't been way too much news on the Oscar front here. There hasn't been any major developments other than, I guess, today Warner Brothers and Denis Villeneuve, they're still trying to submit Hans Zimmer's score for Dune Part 2 for eligibility, even though the Academy's already said we're probably not going to allow it because there's too much reused material. And I guess they'd have to try to go on appeal and something, and it'd have to make the short list and everything. We'll see. I mean, Hans Zimmer already has another contender out with Blitz, so he is one, I can see him being one of those legendary, now a 2-time Oscar winner in that category who could get maybe 1 or 2 slots on that short list with Blitz and with Dune if they accept it. But for the moment, I would lean away from him getting that nomination right now. Anyways, so I guess we can start, though, since we haven't talked about it yet. Let's go into the SAG early predictions here first. Again, we haven't really talked much about SAG so far this year. Anyways, so for those who've been following, I still have Blitz as my early frontrunner for now, and part of the reason why I'm still keeping it here is because I think it's got a chance. I'm not going to have it win SAG, but I think Blitz still has a good chance to land a SAG nomination for its ensemble. And it could be one of those weird ones, even though we'll get to a different category later. I could see Blitz being one of those films that lands at SAG and only gets the ensemble nomination. Number one, it is a cast that is kind of a mix of people that have been in the film industry for a while and stuff. It is from a known director and everything. And here's the big kicker. Once in a while, as we've seen with Captain Fantastic, Beasts of No Nation, even Jojo Rabbit, and there's probably maybe one or two other examples I'm forgetting right now, but if you have a film that has children, primarily children in the cast, or kind of children play a big part, the SAG voters eat that up. They eat that up. So Blitz does have that. So I have that one in. I do not have it to win, though. I have it in second place. My first place pick is Emilia Perez. And I think Emilia Perez could end up, we'll have to see at the end of the year here, but it's got a chance to tie or be up there as one of the most nominated casts at the Oscars as well. I could see it getting into potentially three slots for acting prizes. I don't think it can quite swing four, but we'll see. It also won an acting prize at Cannes. Seems like between Zoe Saldana possibly being a threat and supporting actress to win, and Sophia in Best Actress being a chance to, I won't say a huge chance to win. I think Mickey Madison has a better shot at winning Best Actress right now, but Sophia's going to stick around for sure in that one. So I have, Emilia Perez in first, then Blitz. In third, I'm going to go Saturday Night. I love that ensemble. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen so far this year. Great ensemble, playing known people and everything. I can just see, again, this is one spot at SAG where I'm like, boom, it could get that. It'll probably do pretty well at the Globes. At the Oscars, I'm still not 100% sure how it's going to perform, though. It could be one that surprises us and gets maybe one or two tech categories, screenplay and picture. It could land screenplay only. It could be a weird screenplay and picture only player. It's just got a lot of avenues that they could go with it if they like it. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that one. But here at SAG, I like it to get in for ensemble. Probably not anything else, but I like it for ensemble. In fourth, I'm going to go Sing Sing. It's A24. It's probably one of their better bets right now to get a SAG Ensemble nomination. Because The Brutalist, I think it's going to be in there as a possibility, but I don't know. I think Sing Sing has a more diverse cast too. They like their diverse casts. Emilia Perez also has the Netflix factor. I forgot to mention that, but they love Netflix at SAG. But Sing Sing, yeah, I think it's also got a chance to land a couple of big acting categories as well. So it could be a three nominee ensemble, or three nominee performance there, and the ensemble's fairly decently sized too, so that helps. And in fifth place, I'm going to go Conclave. And I think with this one, again, it looks like it's a fair ensemble. Most of them have played, mostly in film, but you've got some that, Stanley Tucci does some stuff for TV. John Lithgow lately has done some stuff for TV, so it's kind of a mix of that TV and film crowd, and it is also a solid player in the Oscar race, so I think that one's true. So a lot of people do like Anora right now to win Best Picture. Here's my problem is you usually have to have at least some performance at SAG. I mean, Nomadland is one of the last ones recently that just wasn't a great performer at SAG, and it still won Best Picture. I think back to 1917. 1917 had no representation from SAG. Not even the stunt ensemble put 1917 in. So, that one, I think, in retrospect, obviously with Parasite also being a very, very big favorite that year as far as, like, personal favorite amongst the voters, that also helped it. But you gotta have at least some presence at SAG. And Anora, I think, for Mickey, I think she's going to get in for Best Actress, and she'll, right now, she's my early pick to win it as well. Well, obviously, we'll get to that category here in a couple minutes. But I don't see it being, like, a big ensemble right now. It's like, okay, it's her... it's like, who else is in? It's like you've got a couple people that people like in the movie, but in supporting roles, but it's not really like a huge, great ensemble mood. At least from what I have heard, not having gotten a chance to see it yet. But so I see that one struggling at getting this ensemble nomination at SAG, the same way that La La Land kind of felt that way, where that was kind of like a two-hander, and you didn't really have that large supporting cast underneath it. With Anora, and with maybe a couple other films out this year, it does kind of feel like we've got that one person and then, a few people that step in and out, and that's kind of it. With The Brutalist, this feels like one of those classic examples of a film that can do well in the acting categories and then miss for ensemble. We've seen that happen. Vice, I remember, was one we liked a lot for SAG that year, and then it got, I think, just Amy Adams and Christian Bale in, and then it missed for ensemble. That was at least one other example I was going to go to here, but that's one of the first ones that popped into my head. And then again, I could be wrong. Maybe it ends up with 4 nominations, so we'll see. One that I kind of liked early, but I've dumped since, is The Piano Lesson. I feel like it's one. This is, SAG is the place where Piano Lesson maybe would do better than it would arguably anywhere else, because I can see it, potentially missing for Best Picture, getting a few other nominations though. But here, I could see John David Washington and possibly even Sam Jackson and Daniel Deadwyler all getting in, and then getting the ensemble getting 4 nominations, and then, kind of being like that Ma Rainey's performer. And don't forget, it was Ma Rainey's and Fences, where, those were 2 films that SAG really liked in the past as far as the August Wilson adaptations. Let's see. Otherwise, Dune Part 2... possible. I mean, I would say this one is, for the stunt ensemble, this one's definitely a very, very credible contender there. We'll see, though. As far as the overall ensemble, even though it's got a big cast and everything, as I recall, the first Dune missed for ensemble, as I recall. I don't think it got... Did it get anything from SAG? I'm going to have to look this up here. Hold on. Let's see. That's already been... Let's see here. Hold on. I'm going to try to find it here. Here we go. Maybe it only got the stunt ensemble. Yeah, all I got was stunt ensemble that year. That's right. I was like, I didn't think it played for outstanding cast, but yeah. Otherwise, a couple of other outside contenders. Nickel Boys is possible. It can diverse cast with some younger actors in there. That could in place of Blitz, that could take one of those. September 5 has a, even though it's not a huge ensemble, it kind of has more of a Spotlight feel, and Spotlight, of course, won SAG that year. So that's one, especially if it starts kicking up some more steam. Like if it starts getting some critic prizes, possibly surprises us with a couple nominations at the Globes ahead of the SAG nominations. That could be one that we see jump up in the odds. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Otherwise, if they really like A Complete Unknown and they get to that one early enough in the voting and stuff, then I could see them potentially landing a SAG Ensemble nomination. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, at least on the Ensemble prize. In Best Actor, I'm going to go Ralph Fiennes in first for Conclave. In second place, I'm actually going to go Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. Again, I like Sing Sing better here. Arguably maybe a little more than the Oscars right now, but again, we'll see. Timothée Chalamet I have getting in for Complete Unknown in third, Adrian Brody in fourth for The Brutalist, and in fifth place, Daniel Craig for Queer. I feel okay with these 5. Again, John David Washington was one I had in there at first because I thought Piano Lesson was going to do better here, but I'm not so sure about that one right now. Netflix seems to be, pushing all their money toward Emilia Perez. Not much left for Piano Lesson other than, they can probably still get Daniel Deadwyler in there, but other than that, I mean, it's going to struggle in the screenplay category, because I think that one's already kind of full. John David doesn't seem to be sticking around in the Best Actor conversation. Both Ray Fisher, Samuel L. Jackson, and a couple of the others in the supporting actor contenders, they don't seem to be having much traction right now. So overall, it is very much, I think, also slipping in the Best Picture odds as well, according to a couple sites here. So, yeah. So SAG could kind of be a last-ditch effort for that film if it's going to stick around and be a player, potentially. But for now, I have him on the outside. Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I mean, we did just see Donald Trump win last night, so I know this film could pick up a little bit more attention here in the coming weeks leading up to the inauguration, and then the Oscar nominations are around that time, too. I think the Friday before or something. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it plays into it. I would also caution that a little bit just with, you've got Sebastian Stan also potentially crossing himself out for A Different Man, where he is inarguably also the lead in that. So if you do like people that like him overall, we could see some vote splitting and he could cancel himself out. So, yeah, that's where I would also struggle with that. And yeah, I think that's it for now for Best Actor. In the Best Actress category, again, Mickey Madison's my front runner. And then, sorry, Carla Sofia Gascon. I in my head, I called her Sophia earlier. So Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez is my second place, though, pick. Then I have Angelina Jolie in third for Maria, Saoirse Ronan in fourth for The Outrun, and in fifth place, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Again, SAG really likes Nicole Kidman. They'll nominate her pretty much for anything, it feels like. So I have her getting in over some other contenders, like possibly Demi Moore for The Substance. Amy Adams, even though she, again, is another one that SAG really likes. She has missed out on a couple nominations previously, so it's not an every-time thing for her either. Marianne Jean-Baptiste, I think, for Hard Truths is going to stick around. SAG is not really, I think, going to be a hard strength of possible nomination here. But, otherwise you got the two contenders, Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door as possibles. But again, I don't see that one as like a large contender right now. Then we'll kind of go through the supporting categories as well here. In supporting actor, I'm going to go Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing as the early front runner here. With Kieran Culkin for Real Pain and Stanley Tucci for Conclave also being in play, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and then I've got Denzel in there in fifth for Gladiator 2. And I'm still a little shaky on that because I would feel a little better if I thought Gladiator 2 was going to be a much stronger contender overall, as in like it's in the mix for Best Picture, possibly even a player for Best Director, more solid in some of the tech categories. And we'll see again here in a few minutes, a little bit later down the road. I'll kind of go into the tech categories where I think Gladiator 2 has some strengths and where I think it potentially has some weaknesses. But It could end up being, I always say with Gladiator 2, it could be one that's like, okay, it gets some of these tech nominations and then lands Best Picture without a screenplay, without an acting or a director nomination, the same way something like Nightmare Alley did a few years ago. Though, again, to be fair, I think that one you had Guillermo not way too, that was his first film after Shape of Water, which had just won Best Picture. With Ridley, it's a little different because he's gotten... I was going to say two, but no, it's just the one. He's gotten a Best Picture win before, still has that kind of IOU factor. He never did win Best Director across his career here, and couldn't even get nominated for The Martian, even though there was a kind of strong narrative that kind of picked up with him potentially winning for that. But then you had Alejandro Iñárritu kind of skirt him out there. But... with Gladiator 2, especially if it can land Denzel solidly. And by the way, Denzel is also a legend here at SAG. He's another one that gets nominated almost every chance he gets in. So even if it is again a film that'll probably play here and the stunt ensemble category, I don't really otherwise see it as a high priority for SAG. Like Paul Mescal for Best Actor, I'm not really sensing that as a strong possibility for ensemble. Not really. So, yeah. We mentioned, Sam Jackson for Piano Lesson, possibly Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, possibly Edward Norton for Complete Unknown. I know some people still like Adam Pearson for Different Man, but I don't know, or maybe one or two guys from September 5. I believe they're all going to go supporting, so we'll see. But yeah, as far as the stunt ensemble, again, I don't have like a strong lineup here, but... Yep, I would say definitely Gladiator 2 and Dune Part 2 are going to be in the mix. Mad Max spinoff Furiosa. Furiosa is going to be in the mix. They usually throw in a weird Best Picture contender for some reason. So of the choices right now, I would say something like... I don't know. If Amelia Perez actually is possible there, I think they might go for it as a possible slot. Trying to think what else. I don't think Wicked would be in there. Blitz, possibly. Blitz is a very small possibility, but yeah. Otherwise, for some of the other big action movies this year, I'm trying to think. What even did we have come out this year? Deadpool and Wolverine, I think. They do like Marvel. Yep, I did forget. Yeah, they do like Marvel. So that's one I can actually see. That one's probably a little higher than some of those other ones. I don't see... God, again, I'm trying to think of all the bigger tentpole movies we had come out this year. Twisters is one that did some business here in the States. I don't really love that one as a stunt ensemble category. Not really. I feel like I'm missing one or two, but yeah, for the rest of these summer movies, like I'm trying to think what else would even contend here. Um, see, I'm going through June here. Nothing really there. Um, did the First Quiet Place? Did that? No, I don't think the First Quiet Place. I got Emily Blunt. I don't think I got on stunt ensemble though, not as I recall. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Let me just backtrack on that one just a second here, in case I'm overthinking it. But no. Yep, just Emily Blunt. Just Emily Blunt. Yep, I was questioning myself there, but yeah. So that one, yeah, I wouldn't really put as a high possibility. Boy, yeah, I'm kind of running into the late summer here, but there wasn't really like too many like out and out big like action movies with like, you know, heavy stunts and stuff. Not like a John Wick or like Mission Impossible or some of these other ones. We didn't have any of those this year. And coming up through the rest of the year here, I mean, we've just got the holiday season to go through here. Yeah, like I said, Gladiator 2. Yep, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that one. I don't think Kraven the Hunter, even though it does have some association with Marvel, it's not Marvel Studios, which again, they've been preferring Marvel Studio films over some of those other Marvel ventures. I mean, it is a late release, but it is still kind of, you know, mid-December. I'm also not sure how the reception on that film's going to be. The trailer in particular didn't look really strong to me, so yeah. The only one is The Fire Inside, because that's kind of a boxing movie, but again, historically, that's not one that they've gone to for stunt ensemble, and usually it's, you know, like in Creed and stuff, those movies, it's usually been like the actor themselves kind of taking some of the abuse, because I don't think they're all, you know, obviously they're not all real punches when they land in the movie, but because a lot of it's makeup and stuff, but it's, I don't know, it's just something where it's like a very, very small possibility, but I'll name it just in case, but yeah. All right, so that's my thoughts on SAG for the moment. Getting to the some updates here, at least we'll start again in the top 8 categories, and then we'll look through the tech categories. For Best Picture, I'm going to hang on to Blitz for a little bit longer here. I want to see how it does with some of these critic prizes. I don't think it's going to be an immediate go-to. I think a lot of them are going to go to either Anora, possibly Emilia Perez. One or two might go with Brutalist or Conclave. Maybe a couple even go with Sing Sing, but I don't see a lot going with Blitz. We'll also have to see too. I mean, it's way down the line, but BAFTA. I think BAFTA could be a strength for Blitz as far as overall nominations. I don't think it's going to lead nominations at BAFTA, but I think it could be in the hunt to be in that kind of middle pack. You know, kind of a second, possibly even third tier as far as most nominations goes. But yeah, just for now, it's just still kind of a placeholder for me, but we'll see. In second place is Anora, third is Conclave, fourth Emilia Perez, fifth is The Brutalist, and then I have Dune Part 2, then Sing Sing, A Complete Unknown, Nickel Boys, and in 10th place I'm actually going to go for right now with A Real Pain. I have dropped Piano Lesson for my top 10, and at this moment I'm kind of looking, I'm like, okay, I don't know about Wicked, I don't, you know, even that one is going to come out, you know, kind of later in the year and stuff. I don't know if that one's going to be necessarily one the Academy's going to go for. September 5 is way up there as another possible player. Again, I think that one, it's going to need, you know, obviously some other support. It's going to need a clearer path to get some nominations, like an acting category would really help that one. Being a clear, you know, more clear contender for screenplay would help that one. Possibly a film editing nomination would help for that one. And right now, I think it's kind of on the outside looking in on a lot of those categories. And then with Gladiator 2, again, I'm not really sure where to pull the trigger on that one. I just also kind of want to wait to see a little bit of some of the audience like critics and box office too. I want to see those two at least a little bit. I mean, not that it's going to be the end all be all as far as, oh, now I need to put it in if it makes like, you know, $90 million opening weekend or something. No. We're not going to go that far. That's more of a populist thing. But if it's like a huge bomb for some reason, like it opens to 12 million or something, which is it's not tracking anywhere near that. It's tracking closer to like 50, 60, somewhere in that range, I think. But if it for any reason dipped below like 25 million or something, and now it's a big financial risk, you know, losing money for the studio and stuff, that might impact it a little bit. That's kind of where I'm going with that. Let's see. Otherwise, you got a couple outside contenders in there still that could sneak in. Like we mentioned, Saturday Night as a still possible one. The Room Next Door is still kind of hanging around that 15 to 20 range. Some people really like Wild Robot. That's their chances for, getting maybe not a screenplay nomination, but like getting a couple music category nominations, possibly getting picture and then animated feature, getting those 4. We'll see. I mean, right now it feels like the one that's kind of preordained in that category to win for animated feature, but we'll see. And then the only other one I would really say is possible still at this time is maybe something like if Hard Truths, if that can get a screenplay, acting, and a picture nomination, I could see that kind of trifecta working out. But it is feel like it's kind of just kind of clinging on to a couple of those other categories. So I don't feel super confident in that one right now, putting it in. In the director lineup, I'm still, again, just for the moment, going to stick with Steve McQueen out front, just as, again, kind of a placeholder. But really, Sean Baker is kind of the one that'll probably end up running this category for now. So I have him in second place. Then Brady Corbett in third for The Brutalist, Edward Berger for Conclave in fourth, and Jacques Audiard in fifth for Emilia Perez. Definitely don't count out Denis Villeneuve. He could very easily sneak in here, especially if McQueen starts missing a few key places early. Then we did mention Ridley Scott for Gladiator 2. Maybe. Again, if it's more of a technical Marvel kind of thing, then I could see an excuse to get him nominated again. Some people like Ramel Ross in this category from Nickel Boys, or possibly even Greg Guadar still for Sing Sing. Pedro Maldivar for Room Next Door. It would have to get that picture nomination down lock, I think, before I would predict that one. But, yeah, I think that's what we got for Best Director. To the acting categories now, a couple changes here and there. Ralph Fiennes still out front right now for Conclave as the early frontrunner for me. And then Timothée Chalamet in second, actually, for Complete Unknown. I could see that one kind of being more of a populist pick. Not say it's on the path of something like, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, another, kind of musical biopic, but especially if that one ends up being nominated for Best Picture, then okay, yeah, then that one's a possibility. Then I've got, let's see, I got to switch my order here. I think I forgot to update this. I've got Adrian Brody in third for The Brutalist, and then Coleman Domingo in fourth for Sing Sing, and then Daniel Craig in fifth for Queer. So, yep, John David Washington is out right now. And after that, again, it's kind of the same contenders here as far as other possible ones. So, really, we're just kind of repeating ourselves at that rate. As far as the Best Actress lineup goes, I've still got Mickey Madison out front for Honora, then Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Carla Sofia Gascon, I feel like I've got her way too low. She should probably be in third for Emilia Perez. But Angelina, if we didn't mention her yet. And then in the fifth slot, I've kind of been dancing around like, okay, could it be Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl? Is it going to be Marianne Jean Baptiste for Hard Truths? Is Demi Moore still in contention? Should we not shut the door on Amy Adams just yet? Are there a couple other ones? Again, Tilda Swinton or Julianne Moore for Room Next Door. Yeah, for now I'm going to go with Marianne Jean Baptiste for just for now, but it's again, I want to see, if she can get in at Golden Globes, for example, in the drama category, that's a good sign. If she misses there, it's going to be a hard path for her to fight back to the Oscars, but we'll see. And with it being from Mike Lee and everything, a BAFTA nomination would also really help with 6 slots over there. And if it fails at both, I really don't see a path for that one getting in. For Best Supporting Actor, we've got Clarence Macklin out front for Sing Sing, and then Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Stanley Tucci for Conclave, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. So really not too much of a change there. For Supporting Actress, Danielle Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez as well. I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit here. Saoirse Ronan for Blitz, I now have in for Supporting Actress, just because I felt like I had to drop one other contender. I've got Felicity Jones still in there in fifth for The Brutalist, so I did drop Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. And by the way, these are my same 5 at SAG. For whatever reason, I think I skipped it, so apologies for that. Yeah, so these are the same five I have in at SAG, basically the same order, maybe plus or minus one or two. But yeah, this one, I'm still kind of a little unsure exactly on this one, too, because I've got two or three other contenders that I'm kind of dancing around with. Ingenue Ellis Taylor for Nickel Boys is definitely one I would consider on top of Isabella Rossellini. With Rossellini, she doesn't have that previous acting nomination that somebody like Felicity Jones will benefit from. Saoirse Ronan, of course, has that. And then you've got, even though Selena Gomez is not a previous nominee, she's in the film that a lot of Oscar voters are going to be watching and possibly will be nominated with a co-star there, Zoe Saldana. And then I've still got, one again, I think it would really, really help if her co-star gets nominated here, but what about Margaret Qualley for The Substance? It feels like one where it's like, I can see her... Again, like a Critics' Choice would be an easy place for her to get in, I think, because it's more of a critical darling film. They're not afraid to get some of those nominees in there that aren't always going to be, potentially showing up otherwise. But again, I think what would really help her just overall is if Demi Moore keeps getting in for Best Actress. And I can see a weird possibility kind of being the kind of Nepo argument, with Margaret's heritage and stuff and who her parents are. But I can see a weird scenario where, okay, Demi and her both get in across the board. Maybe they both miss at BAFTA or something, or maybe for some reason, we get Demi instead of Margaret at SAG or something weird like that. And then we get to the Oscars and Margaret shows up and Demi is nowhere to be seen. I could see a weird scenario like that where they just leave Demi out for some reason, but I don't know. So those are a few that I'm really still on the fence about as far as other possibilities in that category. But yeah. Moving on to the screenplay categories. Blitz for original screenplay. Blitz, Anora, Real Pain, Brutalist, and Hard Truths. So I'm leaving out September 5, leaving out Saturday Night, leaving out The Substance. And I think the only other one in there that I think people are talking about is Challengers right now. On the adapted side, I've got Conclave, Sing Street, Emilia Perez, Dune Part 2, and Nickel Boys. And that one I feel a little more comfortable with. Complete Unknown could sneak in there, again, if it's a stronger Best Picture contender than we are suspecting at this rate. Room Next Door could sneak in there. Piano Lesson is still kind of hanging around. Night Bitch is even kind of hanging around a little bit. Wild Robot is an adaptation, so if that one really overperforms... Maybe, but again, it would have to really, really be a heavy favorite. And something like Nickel Boys would have to kind of collapse going into the ceremony. Dune Part 2 would have to be very mixed in the tech categories. It'd have to be something like that where that writing branch just is not as passionate for whatever reason about some of these other films for something like Wild Robot to get in. But and then Queer. I'll throw in Queer as another possibility there in adapted screenplay. All right, so with that all being said, we're going to move on. We're going to talk for the first time this year about the tech categories. And some of these are ones that are kind of at large. It's like, they don't release a short list. It's like anybody can get in. Other ones, we do have short lists coming up here in December. But first look at the contenders here for cinematography. I'm going to start with Dune Part 2 out front here. It's Greg Fraser back again shooting this one. He won for the first Dune. He's been around for quite a while, cinematography-wise. So, I like his chances here, too. Especially, there's some sequences, Dune Part 2, like the whole arena sequence, which looks like it's black and white and everything. Getting the lighting right on that, and some of that stuff with the Harkonnen and everything, that looks cool. And some of the shots, especially when we get to that final knife duel between... Fade and Paul. I was trying to think of the actors' names, but name the actors instead of the characters, but the characters came first for whatever reason for that one. Like some of the cinematography there with the light, the sun shining in and stuff. It's like some of those shots are really cool. So I think Greg outdid himself on this one. The first Dune was also really pretty to look at as well, but this one I think is maybe even superior, and it's a film, again, a Dune Part 2 that I didn't like near as much as everyone else out there, so I'll give it credit for that. I have Blitz in second place, The Brutalist in third, Emilia Perez in fourth. I'm going to go Maria in fifth. Don't forget, that's, I've already forgotten his name, but the cinematographer from El Conde, who kind of snuck in here for that one. So Maria, it's also, coming from Pablo Larraín, so I can definitely see that one coming in. Otherwise, some people like Conclave in this category. Gladiator 2 is a possibility. A lot of people like the cinematography from Nickel Boys. Nosferatu is going to be really stylish, so I can see that one possibly sneaking in. But again, that one's going to have to overperform. Yeah, I think that's all we got for cinematography right now. Film editing, this is kind of a big category. I've got Dune Part 2 as the early kind of placeholder for here. The Brutalist in second, Anora in third, Emilia Perez in fourth, and Blitz in fifth. And we've got these 5. We've still got September 5, and we've got Conclave. Both, I think, really in contention here as well to play. Now, if Blitz starts falling out, that's why I've kind of got it in fifth right now. I've got it kind of just qualifying, because again, the film editing category, unless you're something like Coda or a couple of those other films, getting that film editing nomination is a big, big part of it. Even something like Green Book, going into the nominations, we're like, okay, it looks like it's going to be in for picture, but not a ton of us, and I don't recall I had it either. I don't think I had Green Book in for film editing that year, but it showed up. So that film editing category is very important. But otherwise, Gladiator 2 is one that some people see as another outside possible. Sing Sing, if that, that would be another major slot for that one to get. Saturday Night, there's a lot of editing in that. Challengers is also one, there's some stylized editing in that one. So possible for those. To the design categories now. Costume design. My early pick here is going to be Wicked. It's musical. It's got all the big costumes on display. They're adapted, of course, from the Broadway show. So I can see that one getting the win here. Then we've got Dune Part 2, Blitz, Maria, and Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is my 5 picks here. Gladiator 2, possibly. It's, obviously being a period piece, that's going to help it. The Brutalist could be an outside contender, and if that one just really, again, kind of is like The Power of the Dog or some of these other ones where it just keeps getting all these tech nominations, Brutalist could hang around there. Nosferatu, I believe so as well. Conclave, with all the the get up for that, for all those characters, with all the Catholic robes and everything. I don't think it's a gimme for this category, but I don't know. Some people like it here, so we'll see. But yeah, that's that one. In the production design category, I'm going to go Dune Part 2, The Brutalist, Blitz, Beetlejuice, and Gladiator 2. So I'm leaving out Wicked here. Wicked could still easily get in. Conclave, some people like here. Nosferatu is a period piece, so that one could get in. Maria is still possible here as well. Furiosa, I could actually see having a little bit of an argument. It needs to get that, whatever that sci-fi or fantasy production design, when the production designers guild shows up, Furiosa needs to hit there, I think, for it to be a possibility. Let's move on to the music categories. We'll do the music categories next. For the score category, I've got Hans Zimmer out front, just again as a placeholder for now for Blitz. But I think the big two that people go to and they say it's probably going to come down to these two. It's The Brutalist and Conclave for score right now. Those are the two favorite scores out there right now. Emilia Perez also having the musical element to it. I think that could very easily get in here, so I have that one in fourth. And Wild Robot. Wild Robot is one people really, really like in these music categories. So there you go. Those are possibles there. People like the score to Challengers. The jazzy score that's kind of playing throughout Saturday Night. Maybe. Just maybe. Gladiator 2 is... who's doing Gladiator 2? Is that also Hans Zimmer? I thought he did the first one, if I'm not mistaken, for Gladiator. No, it's not. It's Harry Gregerson Williams, who's... when was his last nomination? He's been nominated before, has he not? I could have sworn he's been nominated before. But I'm looking through. I don't see a previous Oscar nomination. I mean, he's been working for just forever. He's worked with so many composers out there, but unless I'm really misreading here, I think he's never been nominated, so that's we'll see. Trying to think, what else do people like here in this category? But yeah, I think that's about it for that one. Song is always a fun one until we get our short lists out. It seems like El Mal from Emilia Perez is the one that everyone really, really likes from that one. It's kind of one of the standout songs, and there's a couple other ones that I think people like, but I have that one out front at first. I have The Journey from the 688, and you're like, what the hell is that? Diane Warren. enough said. Just if she's going to qualify, put her in. Then we have Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot. That seems to be, again, very, very popular pick from that one. Like a Bird from Sing Sing. And I'm going to go Mi Camino from Amelia Perez also as a possible contender there. I think... I thought there was at least one other song here, but I'm not seeing it listed as of now. But I can triple check that there's not... I'm not sure if this will have it or not, but... I think it's just... No, I think it's just those two. Okay. I was kind of looking through. I'm like, I thought I'd heard there was like 3 or 4 songs in there, but I think it's just the 2 big ones. Otherwise, there's always a couple other possibilities here. You've got Piece by Piece, which is Pharrell, who's been nominated before. Even though, again... We think about, the curse of Lego as far as the Oscars and stuff. Don't forget, it was Everything is Awesome was a nominee for Best Song that year, which was really strange to see. Okay, the music category likes the movie, but the animated branch, for whatever reason, held some contempt to the film. And part of it, too, might have been some of the live-action material from the film as well. You've got Beyond from Moana 2. Disney usually tends to get a song or two in there. I Always Wanted a Brother from Mufasa. Don't forget, it's... Lin-Manuel Miranda, so, he's one that's been around for a while. Otherwise, Blitz has Winter Coat. Again, Best Picture nominees sometimes kind of sneak in here if they have an eligible song. For another documentary that could make the list, because we've seen documentary songs make the list, he's a previous winner as well, Elton John. He's got Never Too Late from his documentary Never Too Late. So we've also got a song from Joker, Folie à Deux, which, even though that one has really, really been forgotten in the race and everything, and everybody just seems to be abandoning it. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, it somehow sneaks in there. We'll see. Just a couple left here. We have the makeup and hair category. I'm going to go with Beetlejuice out front here. Part of it's just the lineage of the first film winning this category as well, but... I don't know, we'll see. It's also, a pretty popular film, the box office and everything, so we'll see. Dune Part 2, though, I think is also very much in play here. Wicked will be in play. In 4th place, I'm actually going to go with The Apprentice. That's because I'm kind of struggling with some of these other possible picks. And in 5th place, another one that I'm really uncomfortable putting in there right now, but... the popularity of the film and everything, the fact that people do like it, it is also, I looked box office-wise, it's actually not a bad film for its international total of the box office, even though it just did okay here in the States. The Substance, I think, could sneak in here. And again, I'm not super comfortable because, again, they don't love to go out-and-out horror films here in this category. The Wolfman with Rick Baker is an exception, but again, that's Rick fucking Baker. He gets, he's another one. He's won like 5 or 6 times, I swear. So, and his first film where he won was American Werewolf in London, of course. So, kind of fitting that it's, kind of bookended by those two. And I don't think he's been nominated since. But again, they don't love to go out and out horror films here unless it's a really special occasion or it's fucking Rick Baker. So this, I believe, is not Rick Baker. So yeah. Otherwise, Nosferatu is another one. I'm really struggling to put that one in. You've Got a Different Man, but everything I'm seeing, the actor Pearson, that's his. Because at first I thought it was too, but then I did kind of looked around it a little bit. I think that's not really makeup. I think that's just his face. He's just got that. I don't know if it's a disease or because again, I'm not super familiar with the film, but I looked into whether or not that's really his face, and I think that's his real face. So unless there's other stuff in the film that I just haven't heard about and stuff, but we'll see. Some people even like possibility of Amelia Perez, Gladiator 2, or even something like Brutalist getting into this category. Possibly even something like the first one didn't make it, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I remember was kind of bandied about as a possibility, but it's the third time around for that one. They don't love doing sequels. Furiosa as well is another one. The first one got in, but I don't, as I recall, I don't see this second one getting in. Maria, I think there's some aging that happens in that one, but I don't know. I don't think it's really front and center as far as part of her performance and stuff either. People would say too, well, if Angelina's going to get nominated and there's some aging and stuff in there, it could get in. Didn't Judy get nominated for makeup? I thought it did, and that was when Renee Zellweger won. If I'm not mistaken, that got in for makeup. Am I totally pulling that out of my ass? I thought it was a nomination as well. I feel like I'm... Yes, it made it in for makeup. That's right, yeah. So some people have made that argument as well for something like Maria. But, again, I'm kind of struggling right now beyond these 5. We've got the sound category up next. We've got Dune Part 2 as the front runner here for me, then Gladiator 2, then Blitz, Wicked, and Emilia Perez. Since it's now one sound category, this is, traditionally we'd see like sound editing would be more of your action films, sound mixing being more of your musical films, and then more general Best Picture nominees getting into that one. But since we've just got the one, I've got these 5. Twisters is a possibility, Conclave is a possibility, Complete Unknown is still a possibility, Furiosa, of course, the first, or not the first, but the previous Mad Max, featuring a Furiosa character. That, of course, swept the 2 sound categories. The Brutalist could sneak in there for sound, again, especially if it starts just really, really sticking around in these tech categories. Yeah, I think that's it for that one. And I feel like we've... did I hit everything for the tech categories? I feel like I have. Am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting a category or something. Because I'm kind of going through here. And again, I feel like I'm missing something. Other than, obviously, the featured categories. But no, we hit them all here with visual effects. So you've got... I've got Dune Part 2, again, as the front runner here. I just think, again, it's going to do really well in its tech performance here. Gladiator 2 I've got in second. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in third. I've got Blitz in fourth. They like throwing other Best Picture nominees in there when they've got a shot. So especially something like Blitz has some of those technical elements to it and everything. Some supporting visual effects, so I can totally see that one making it. And in fifth, I'm a little shaky on this one. But the first one got in, and sometimes they've liked these kind of looking live-action special effects, so something like Jungle Book or Mufasa the Lion King I also have in here as well. I'm not really thinking Twisters is going to strike here. I know a lot of people do like Twisters as a kind of outside shot to win this category. I'm not looking at it right now. This could be a thing on me, too, because don't forget I said the same thing about Godzilla. Eventually I had to put that one in, and eventually it did win the category, and I was kind of refusing it at first. Wicked is a possible nominee here. Furiosa is a possible nomination here. This could be the one place we see here nominated. It's been just a dreadful box office performance, and critics really hated here. Just really hated it. Just generally speaking. Deadpool and Wolverine, it's not really, even though there's effects in it, it's not like the first thing you think of when you think of that movie. Same with Alien Romulus, same with Godzilla, Godzilla X Kong, again, one of the stupidest titles I've heard in the year. But, yeah, I think that's what I've got right now for visual effects. So, at this moment, when we pull out kind of, from the individual categories, look at the big picture as far as multiple nominees, I believe I checked this here the other day. I think I have Emilia Perez actually as my leader right now. I've got it getting into for 12 nominations total, including a couple nominations in supporting actress. So I believe I had that one getting the most. Blitz is not far behind with 11. I believe Dune Part 2 I have getting into 9 categories. Brutalist is in at 10. Conclave I have getting into 6 categories now since I took out Isabella Rossellini. I had it in for 7 previously, but I have it in for 6 right now. Anora I have hanging in at 5. I feel like that one, potentially there's a couple spots I could put in, but I don't really think that one otherwise is going to be like, one that gets in everywhere it can, but we'll see. Sing Sing I have getting into 5 categories. Gladiator 2 I have getting into 4. Wicked I have getting into 3 total categories. Beetlejuice I have getting into 3 categories. Hard Truths has a couple. Maria I believe has 3. Yes, or 3. Yep, 3 categories there. Otherwise, who else? Nickel Boys have just got the pair with picture and screenplay. I think... Otherwise, Wild Robot I have getting 3. Because I think that one will get in for animated feature as well, so we'll just count that one as the third one. I think I've got, is Mufasa? Yeah, Mufasa I've only got getting the visual effects nomination for now, but that one could sneak into song and get 2. But, yeah, I think that's what I got for now. So there you go. My first predictions in all the tech categories and stuff included I have there you go. I have Amelia Perez leading the pack right now, followed closely by Blitz, Brutalist, Dune Part 2. So those are kind of your top tier as far as multiple nominees right now. But yep. All right, that's what I got for now, and we'll come back here maybe at least a week or two. We'll kind of look maybe a couple more times at least on the Golden Globes, maybe some updated Globe predictions next time. Otherwise, I think we might just wait for that. Yeah, so that might be a few weeks down the road, but we'll be back later on as we get closer and closer to the advancement here in the Oscar race and getting in further and further into this next stage.